In this session, we'll look at international case studies of online learning. Where is the rest of the world in online learning? We're going to look specifically at Open University in the UK, a similar university in Spain. We'll take a look at what's going on in India, China, Brazil. And starting with Great Britain, the Open University has been a global leader in online learning, currently enrolling 250,000 students in online courses. It's the largest university in the UK, and one of the interesting things is that its attendees and graduates consistently rank Open University as either the highest or one of the highest ranked universities in the UK. It is US accredited, and it's kind of interesting to see this sort of heraldic crest, a coat of arms, compared with their more modern logo. But they've become the model for many, many others from their start about 1969. Other international online universities are, well, they cover every continent except for Antarctica. From Vietnam and Malaysia to Pakistan and India, Nigeria, Thailand, in the US, Open SUNY is the largest open university. Open in this sense doesn't mean distance learning. Open means that you don't have to take a test or qualify to get in. It's an open enrollment. That said, most of these also are leaders in online learning. Now you may notice that in this list only the Netherlands and Greece are European universities. There's actually one more that is larger, which is the National University of Distance Education from Spain. It's the only Spanish government-sponsored university, and it's modeled after the UK's Open University. They actually enroll more students than the UK because they have an international reach. They're the second largest university in Europe. They have learning centers in 13 different nations. Several of them have proctored testing or exam centers. So for that reason, they're the only way for international students to qualify for the European Union's education exams. But they've been doing this for so long, they have so many students, they've created their own textbooks and learning materials that are tailored to online learning. So here are the leaders in Europe, the UK, Spain. Oddly enough, Romania is one of the other leaders. And there's kind of an interesting question about where are the others. The 2/3 of the population of the Earth live in Southeast Asia, with China being the largest nation in the world, India coming along very closely, probably will surpass them soon. It's interesting that India is has the largest speaking English population, and China has the largest number of students taking English in class, even more than the US. So India has about 10 million online students. They've gone into this in a big way, could be bigger considering the size of India. The government controls schools there, central government. So by 2002, they created the Distance Education Council as a way of regulating distance education in India. The DEC has to date licensed 200 universities in India to provide distance learning or online learning classes. Their goal is to increase access by 30% in the next 5 years. Now, India has some history here. So in the modem days, they provided access to women, access to higher ed and high school courses to women in remote villages, poor areas or places where they weren't permitted or it was culturally frowned upon to get educated. So uh, they've served they've served hundreds of thousands of women. Uh, Again, this is 20 years ago, and they see this as a tremendous opportunity. India thinks big in terms of education. Their largest university is 3.5 million students. I think that's the largest one in the world. So, is China doing something even bigger? Not by a long shot. Online courses are still quite rare in China, uh, partly because their major research universities don't really enroll a lot of students. Uh, a big one, Tsinghua or Wusan, would enroll around 50,000. That's not big for a country like China. Uh, they're pedagogical questions. So Chinese universities are still taught in a way that there are right and wrong answers, there are specific things to do, and there's a question about how well does that translate to motivate students who are in remote areas. But that may be changing because 2012 brought the MOOC impact to China, and China wound up having some of the largest number of students enroll in U.S. MOOCs. So 2 years ago, the Chinese government permitted Tsinghua University to launch its own MOOC. Tsinghua is like the Chinese equivalent to our MIT. So this may signal a rapid change in China. China is certainly capable of rapid change and advancement. 2 years ago, the Open University of China was announced. This is watershed because previously the only way to get into Chinese universities was to score really well on a really tough test or to have a really big bribe. So Open University is ready to meet students' needs, but China has a huge distance education need. They know they need to educate people in rural communities, in low-income communities, and they see distance education as the way to do it because otherwise it's too complex to train educators in that scale. So the continent to the south of us, South America, is dominated in land and in population by Brazil. But they also, like China, have few online students, but for a different reason. Around 2002, with the beginnings of online courses, Brazil saw this as a weak kind of course. So their Ministry of Education limited by law all accredited courses to a maximum of 20% of online coursework. They, like China, were jolted by Coursera in 2012, contributing a huge number of students who clearly wanted to take courses online. So perhaps in response to that, the private corporation Educate, a year later, raised $10 million to design and deliver online courses in Brazil. Now, they have been available, but perhaps not for credit. The Allison Group has been offering free online courses really around the world for quite a while, and they're the biggest provider of online courses in Brazil, Turkey, and other places like that. So who are our international online learning stars? The U.S. is number one, partly because of its MOOCs, and because 90% of our universities offer online courses. The UK, because of Open University, has to be number two, if only because of their leadership. Spain is a huge star with their own Open University, reaching out to 13 other nations. India is clearly up and coming with 10 million online registered. And with the incredible need and demand shown by Chinese and Brazilian students, we can expect that they also will rise. The question remains, where is Europe with its wonderful universities, its highly educated people, and will they become the next star in our open learning universe?